faith and devotion to God till his last day on earth is truly inspiring to me, and I'm sure that the rest of us still on this journey are also inspired. Chris is now in heaven with his heavenly Father and all the witnesses, and is cheering us on as we complete our divine assignment. I will always cherish this. Watu wa Mangu mko? Mangu mko wapi? Mbona tuwaoni? I thought you were the school. Najua huku sasa tunaringa na AIC Kavanzweni, eh? Where's Valanjama? Mangu.
Facing the camera? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daniel Gashabi, and these are my friends, and we were all classmates with Christant in Mangu High School. So we will quickly go through our tribute. So we've known Christant for 27 years, some slightly more. And throughout those 27 years, it's been a blessing to know him. When we were in high school, we used to have different nicknames that we used to use for different things. And Christant also had nicknames that he had. There was one where he was called Snoop, and the other one that defined who he was a name that was called Constant. And that was a name that defined who he is in life. And one of the things with Christant that was constant was his love for farming. Christant loved farming. He had a green thumb. He always, when he harvested pixies and mangoes, he always brought to his friends. The other constant about Christant is his generosity. He gave his time, his money, his advice, and everything he could give. And I think there's a saying that goes, and it's just a testament of just how generous he was. Chris was also constant with his storytelling. He could tell stories for days. You'd sit down with him, and before you know it, an hour has passed, 2 hours. So he was a great storyteller. Christant, the other constant he had was his love for family. Christant loved his family. He adored Maureen. He loved his little girls, and he made sure everyone knew his siblings, his parents, and that was another constant of him. And the most important of them all was his constant love for God. Christant loved God very much, and he would share testimonials with everyone who knew him. He'd post on his WhatsApp status. He would share music with people. He served in the church, and he was an overall great guy. So we want to just say poleni to the family. Constant, thank you so much for the years we've had together. We will miss you, and on our end, as Mangu men, we will do our best and take care of your family. Asanteni.
Thank you, guys. This man from Mangu, those who are in the WhatsApp group from Nairobi, you know what these guys did. They have done a tremendous job, and we thank you very much, gentlemen. We're going to have a tribute from Chris college mates, JQuad KCA campus. Bana Karemi, are you here? Good. Watu wa JQuad mko wapi? Simsimame tuwaone. Tuokoe masaa kidogo tafadhali, eh?
Asante. My name is Andrew Karemi. I was in campus with Chris, and with me friends from that particular period when we were all in campus together. I have known Chris since first year of campus, and we became good friends. So much so that when we started working, we became housemates. It was an enjoyable time. Chris and I lived in peace and harmony, and I will always cherish our time together. I lived with Chris until he met the love of his life more, and he moved out to build a home with her. Soon after, and by God's design, Chris slowly but surely became the minority in his household by way of 3 wonderful baby girls, Tanu, Mudhoni, and Mumbi. Knowing Christant, I would like to bet or imagine that despite being the minority in that household, he did win a couple of arguments or have a few votes go in his favor. After all, he was a brilliant salesman. Since Chris got married before me, when I also made that leap, I will from time to time seek his counsel, and he'll tell me the best way to win a fight is to avoid one. Meaning we're innately built knowing what is right and wrong. Do what is right, communicate, and you will avoid the doghouse. But just to be on the safe side, have a good doghouse. Whenever we had discussions on how our kids were faring, we'll sometimes joke about how after coming home from work, and that's the time your kid is potty training, and your kid wants to show you just how great they become at using the potty. Just you, no one else. Here you are during the day, this VP of sales in a multinational company, and in the evening you're in charge of poop, or you're the designated playmate for the night. We will laugh and share more stories, but we both agreed it was a humbling yet a rewarding experience, and it only enriched the wins. He loved every moment of being a parent and spending time with his girls. Yesterday I was going through my past emails with Christant, and I noticed a couple of things. Number 1, Chris is probably the only guy out of our group of friends who maintained the same email address, Chris Mutua 24, all the way from campus. I used to joke and ask him, what was wrong with the first 23? Of course, we now all know 24 depicts his birth date. Number 2, I cannot quote or share any of the emails sent during campus or just after in this venue. But in his defense, there were forwards which he then shared with us, and he was a different person then. Thirdly, around 2008 or thereabouts, the contents of his emails started changing, and you will now start receiving emails with words like, Jesus has left my PC and is coming to yours, or let me check with if the First Lady is available and I will come with her, or matters to do with LPO financing, farming, investments, and so forth. In short, Chris was morphing into the man he wanted to be, a God-fearing man, a thinking man, a productive man, a man who wanted to uplift his life and bring everyone else with him. Fast forward to 2012, the eve or week of Christant's wedding. Chris was the 3rd person, if I'm not wrong, to get married in our group. And it was customary in our group for the groom to be given some Dutch courage on the eve or week preceding the wedding. And when I say some, I mean a lot. Chris declined that offer. The other day we heard that he was taking premarital classes. And it's now when I look back that I realize just how far he had traveled in his spiritual journey and relationship with God. He wanted to be all there, to make his commitment to more in the presence of God and man. How did he do during the wedding, you ask? Nerves got him a little bit, but he pulled through. Later on during the evening party, we teased him a bit, but he didn't care. Mo had said yes. As I wind up, I'd like to read to you an email, obviously from the period I can share. An email he sent to me, and maybe others,